All right, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's March the 3rd, and we're starting our Naples Mac user group meeting. We welcome all of our members from all over the world, and we're glad you're here. Our meetings are every week at this time through June 30th. You must be a member of Naples MUG to get into the meetings, and that's primarily for Zoom security reasons. Classes are rolling right along. The signups for classes have never been better in all of our years of operation. Because of the great results of our classes this year, we have decided to add a bonus class, which I mentioned every week. And it's a free bonus class, regular class, 2.5 hours. Plus, we're going to give you a free take control book, plus the normal video of the class. It's on March the 27th, and it's by Jeff Carlson, and the name of the class is Managing Your Files. Eckert has informed me we have 100 people registered so far. So if you haven't registered, please do. Thank you. By the way, when you do register, all you have to do is put into the subject area bonus class, and that will make life a lot easier for Eckert. And this is a picture of Jeff Carlson, who is the author of the book and the speaker at the meeting. I just wanted to mention the date change again on the Zoom class. It will be on March the 20th. March the 20th. And that will be Dan Wozink. On March the 13th, we're going to have our security and protection class, which is usually a very, very popular class. The instructor is Jeff Bohr. Jeff Bohr is the one that did the Big Sur classes, and he'll be back for the security class. So make sure you register for that. The class this weekend, this Saturday, is the iCloud class by Joe Kissel, who is the author and publisher of Take Control books. And we're already up to, I think, about 86, and we probably will have about 100 signed up for that class by Saturday. The Zoom classes continue on and on. Everything is pretty much trouble-free now, all because of Eckert's great determination that Zoom was the answer to us continuing our meetings. We never missed, Naples Mac User Group has never missed a meeting. And it was because of Zoom and Eckert's determination that we would roll through the COVID-19 crisis and continue to function. And we've done an excellent job in that area. Thank you, Eckert. Next week's meeting, our famous Mitch Bryers will be back, and he covers the iPhone, the iPad, and the watch. And so make sure you're here next week for Mitch. And of course, this week is Chita, and it's all yours.
All right, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who sent in so many questions. I was overwhelmed with questions, and I guarantee you I will not get to all of those questions today. There were so many questions. So Ed, I have questions for your session. So you don't even have to you don't even have to ask for any. I got them all right now available for you. So okay. So
I'm so pleased.
There you go. So some I've even primed for you already. Again, I thank you. I really appreciate it because it lets me know how much you really care about this particular meeting and all of our meetings. So with that, I am going to get started. And actually, the first thing I want to do is, Sophia, you raised your hand. Do you have a question? Sophia, you can unmute yourself and ask your question if you do have one. If not, I'm going to keep going. Okay, let me know. I see your hand up. All right, the first thing I need to do is share my screen with you. And excuse me. Yeah, okay, great. And you can see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yes.
you saying yes. And if you do have questions during a particular topic, if you want to put them in the chat window, we should be able to get to them. If there's a question in the chat window that someone knows and can answer, I'd greatly appreciate you taking care of that for me. And with that, the first thing I want to discuss is a question by Roger. Roger, are you here?
Yep, I am.
Please, all right, please unmute yourself. Oh, you did, sorry. All right, so I want to show you this. Roger is having an issue with SuperDuper. And you sent me this image, and this is what I want you to do, because there are some things that may go on with your system that those outside of your desktop, your office, we can't answer. So here, do you see this button right here, view log?
Yes.
Okay, when you get a message like this from SuperDuper that it cannot complete, I want you to click on this button. What it will do is basically show a log of whatever has just happened. And it will have another button on it that says send. What it will do is send that log to the developer of SuperDuper, David Nanyan. And I guarantee you, within 1 or 2 days, he will get back to you and tell you what the problem is. Okay?
All right.
All right, so do that and let us know. He will answer you. He is the one developer who is so accessible, more accessible than any developer I've ever come across. So send that log to him and he will respond to you.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, so you're welcome. Let us know what happened.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay. All right, now my next thing is I actually have an assistant working with me today, and that is Mitch. And because Mitch has to leave in about half an hour, I'm going to change up and do the part of my presentation that involves Mitch. So Mitch, if you can unmute yourself, and I'm going to start this. And we're going to take a look at the question. The question is, if someone used the shared album feature with me, if they cancel the share, will the images remain visible on my Mac? So what I did, I shared an album, 2 albums actually, with Mitch, and we're going to show you what shows up when someone shares an album with you. After they've created it, what they would do is click on the album and buttons will appear. And you see this button here. This button indicates that you can add someone to this album. So you click on this button. So I clicked on that button and I input Mitch's name, and then I invited him. And after he accepts the invite, you'll get this button attached to the shared album. So Mitch, can you share your screen? It'll automatically take over for you. Share your screen. With me?
It says you cannot share screen while the others are, okay.
There you go. You got it.
Now I got it.
Okay.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Cannot see it yet.
Okay, let me work on this. Here we go.
Got it.
Got me now?
Got it. All right. So
Okay.
I shared two albums with Mitch. One is Snow Day. Click on that one. I want them to see my backyard. This is my husband outside in my backyard, probably a week and a half ago, or a little more. And I shared this album with Mitch, and I also shared another album with you. Go back one. And I shared this one, which is far more pleasing to my eyes. So now the question was, if someone shares an album with you, if they cancel the share, will the images remain? So Mitch, go back to Snow Day. And I'm going to go onto my albums on my iPhone, actually. And I'm going to shared albums. And I'm clicking on that little icon with the person with the check mark. And I'm clicking on Mitch's name. And at the bottom of the screen, it has remove subscriber. So if I click remove, and I've clicked remove, and at some point, that album is going to disappear. So click on something else to see how long it takes. We'll wait and see if when it disappears, because it worked instantaneously yesterday. So you know when you're doing real presentations, all kinds of things happen. So Mitch has been unsubscribed from that album. And it could be also because we're on Zoom, things change. All right, so Mitch has been unsubscribed from that album, and we're waiting for it to disappear. Now, if
Chita,
yep,
on my iPad, it is gone.
okay.
So could be if
All
I
right.
close down my photos and reopen it, it might show here.
Sure,
Oh,
go ahead.
I think it went away. I think it went away.
Oh,
No, it's still
no, it
no,
didn't.
it's
right
it's still
here.
there. It's still there.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Let's leave it there for a second, and
Okay.
let's see if the computer will catch up. If not, you've already stated that it has gone away from your iPad. But what happens when you share an album is that the images are shared. They are not on Mitch's computer. I've just shared that with Mitch from my iCloud. So if he wants to keep the images, he actually has to download the images to his library. So Mitch, can you download? So he's right-clicking on it and he's selecting import. And what it's going to do is import into his library.
It's there already on my iPad.
Okay, it's on his
There it
iPad.
is on my.
And there it
on
is.
the computer.
All right. Now close, go ahead and since it hasn't updated yet, go ahead and close photos and reopen it.
Okay.
So and again, it could be because we're working on the computer on Zoom,
Yeah.
and Snow
still
Day is
there.
still there. Of course, it's still there. Can you show your iPad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me do that real quick. Okay, this is my iPad. This is the picture we imported right down here.
All right. So don't click on it because I
And
remember
over
your
to the
iPad.
side here
Yeah.
on shared albums. You can see the Kauai's there, but the snow day is not.
Okay, so again, the pictures are being shared with him. In order for him to keep the images, he has to download them. So what I'm going to do now, while you're on your iPad,
Yes,
I'm going to unsubscribe you from the Kauai album.
okay,
All right, so I've removed you.
it's gone.
There
away.
you, and it's gone already. So
Yeah.
that's what happens. Now go to your library and see if the image you downloaded is still there.
Still, interestingly, it's still on my computer. Let me, well, the one I
Mitch,
downloaded will
yeah.
be there.
Go, please show it. Go to library, and there it is. It's still there. So you have to import the images. With the shared album, you, if the owner of the album gives you the permission, you can delete the album yourself from your screen. You can download them, or you can comment. You can't even edit them, but they don't belong to you until you import them to your computer. Okay? Mitch, I thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome.
All right.
And can I thank you both for those very, very helpful answers? Thank you.
You're quite welcome, Mike. Glad to help. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. All right, so I have to exit out of this so I can get to slide number 1. It's really great to have people who you can ask questions and rely on, and who can make this so interactive and so live. So I really greatly appreciate it. And let's go back there. All right, so to start off, my first question was, where on my computer can I see if my hard drive is a flash type drive? Let me make this a little larger. Okay, so I'm going to hide this. To do that, I'm going to click on my desktop, and I'm going to go to About This Mac. And About This Mac window, if you click on the storage button, it will show you what type of drive it is, whether it's a regular spinning drive or whether it's a flash storage drive. So that's a quick way to get that information about your hard drive. And there are a couple other places. One more you could actually, let's see. If I go back to overview, if I go back to system report, I can also come over here and select storage, and I can find that here as well. Where I just saw it. Where did I lose it?
It says SSD.
Okay. All right. Thank you that you see it. Right now I don't, but I know it's there. So that's the other location you can find that information. All right. Let's go back to Keynote. And let's go to the next question. In Keynote, how do I add an image to an existing slide? How to simply duplicate a slide? Alan, this is for you. Okay, so let me hide. And I'm going to bring up, actually, I'm going to escape out of this. And in my presentation, now, Alan, I know you have an older version of Keynote. So this should be exactly where I show you, but it may not be. So you may have to search around in the same vicinity for this. So your first question, how do I add a new image to an existing slide? You can come up here to the media button. And from the media button, you can add images several different ways. You can go to your Photos app. You can select Choose, and it will take you inside of your computer, and you can select an image. You can also drag and drop an image directly from your Finder. So there are many ways to do that. And did I just think so? Hold on. Edit, undo, delete slide. Yep, I just deleted a slide. Sorry. I meant to click and delete that. All right. And you also asked, how do I duplicate a slide? Now, typically, and I don't know why this is so well hidden in Keynote. If you go to the File menu and you select Duplicate, you think, oh, I'm about to duplicate a slide because I have this slide selected on the left here in the thumbnail view. And to get to this view, you go to this icon here, click on the arrow, and I'm in the Navigator view. You can show a lot of different things from this view panel. So I've clicked on the slide and I'm thinking, okay, if I go to File and go to duplicate the file, the entire file. So let me show you. Boom, it just duplicated my entire file. I don't want that. And you'll see here, here's the copy, here is the original. And that throws a lot of people off. No, delete copy. If you want to duplicate a slide, you right click on that slide and you select duplicate. And now the slide itself is duplicated. Okay. And if you want to delete it, right click and select delete. And that slide is now gone. All right, so try that, Alan. Look in those areas and let us know if that works for you. Okay.
Okay, I did have a question about the first thing you demonstrated. Is it
Go
now
ahead.
or you want to wait?
No, let's go now.
Okay, what I was really asking for is how do I get it to animate and just drop that image down into it? I've seen other people have it where they say, and now we're showing this, and the image and the new image just drops down into the slide. That's what I was really trying to do.
Oh, that's animation process that I cannot go over right now. It would take a little bit too long. Okay, you basically, like these items here, all of these items are animated. Let me show you quickly. This item, I'm going to select the build order. So I can, in the build order, which I selected here, it brings up this panel. All of my objects on this slide are animated. So if I click preview, it goes through the animation. Okay. Now, any slide, I'm sorry, not any slide, any object has an animation on it because I put an animation on it. So you select the object. Let's just create one just quickly. This is for you, Alan, only for you. All right, so I've created an object and I want to animate it. I select the animation button over here, and there are several categories here, several buttons: build in, action, build out. So with build in, it's asking you, what do you want this object to do when the slide comes in after it transitions from the previous slide? So if I select add effect, I get this menu of all kinds of things that I can do. I'm going to select anvil and it gives me a preview. All right, now I'm going to leave that right there. I'm going to go up to build order, and from there, I'm going to take that and have that so that it happens directly after. So watch. So you basically have to animate
This
the
gal is
object.
sharp. I don't know where she's from, but boy, she is good.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. So Alan, did you see that?
Yes,
That
I
would be
did. Thank you.
before.
Yeah, it happens kind of at its pace. Is there any way that I can make it happen by clicking each time so that the new ones come in at the rate I want them to come in, not at the rate the computer controls?
Absolutely. So once you create an animation, you can change the duration. Whoa, that's long. You can change the duration here. And you can, like here, down here, I have all of my animations set to happen after the previous object animates. You can select on click.
Okay.
So now, and you should have seen that this object here now separated from the rest of the slides animation. So now when I select preview, whoops, let me select all of them. So it's going to start. I've told these to be automatic, but it's going to stop. Yeah, hold on. They're all automatic. This one on click, and there's no delay. Let's see if I can show that, because that is the preview. Let me do this. If I play slideshow in window. All right, so now. So it should stop before. See, now it's waiting for me to click in order for that to come down. So you can set the animation to be whatever you want it to be. Okay?
Okay, thank you. I'm going to try it when we finish here and see how well I can remember everything you told me. But thank you.
It'll be on the recording now, and you're quite welcome.
I took that. Barbara took
All right.
notes too.
All right. Thank you. Hi, Barbara. All right. Let's go back to our presentation. And all right. So we had asked this one already. Just going through. And let's go to the next question. Can you have a custom icon or image for my folders? Yes, you can. And I do this all the time because with one of the OS changes, Macintosh made everything monochromatic. And I'm a very visual person. I need to see things and see them differently. So quite often I will take my folders and add icons to them so that I can differentiate them from the sea of the thousands of folders that I have. So let me show you how I do this. And okay, this folder that I just opened opens up over here. All right, so here's my sea of blue folders that you normally see. And this is a sample folder with folders in it because, of course, I don't want to show you my real stuff. And these are folders that I've created to have different images on them. So how do you do this? All you need is an image. And it could be a large image, it could be a small image. You want it to be something that you can see. Like this is just a flower that I took the background off of in Photoshop. And this one is star that I created. I believe I created it in preview. So you can create the file. It can be a JPEG or it can be a PNG. I think they may have allowed you to use a TIFF, but to be safe, use a JPEG or a PNG. So after you create your file, you then click on any folder and you go to the file menu. Oops, I'm sorry, that's not true. It's not true. Let me do this first. I'm going to take this and open it in preview. So first you have to take your image file and open it in a program like Preview. So I just dropped this file on top of Preview. I'm going to go to the file menu and I'm going to copy. From there, I go to any folder and then I go to the file menu and I select Get Info. And what you want to do is click on this icon right here and then edit, paste. And that icon is now the folder icon. So after I close this window, that folder now takes on that icon. Just as easy as that. So now instead of having a sea of blue, you can have folders with different icons, and you can create your own. You can get some off of the web. You can, use parts of your image. So copy, paste, and it's really easy, but it's really helpful to the eye to differentiate between the sea of blue folders. All right. Okay, let's quit there. And let's close you. And let's go back to Keynote. Keynote 9 is,
Chita, may I just make a quick comment?
yes.
I use that same technique for some applications that I have moved on to my dock. I'll give you an example. I do a lot of work on the stock market, and I work with Merrill Edge. And I have created an icon with Merrill Edge. I shouldn't say application really, but it's a URL on my browser. And I use the same technique to add an icon of Merrill Edge. So when I look at my dock now, I see Merrill Edge, and I click on it, and I'm immediately taken to the browser and to that particular application.
Right, and
Very
thank you for
useful.
that. Yeah, it's very useful because this does not, let me go back to my folders. This in no way has any effect on the applications or the folders. It's just an icon that you can use. So thank you, Eckert. All right, so let's close that back. And someone mentioned in the chat, Keynote 9, version 9 is the same for duplication of slides. So Alan, if you could let us know what version you're working with, we could just compare. And the Keynote version I'm working with is version 10.3.9.
Okay, I'll go back. I don't want to waste time now, but I'll go back, look at it later and report back after the fact.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so we've had this question. Let's go to the next. What is Mail Drop and how is it used? Mail Drop is a program that allows you to send very large attachments, and the attachment limit to the size is 5 gigabytes. So previously, you could not send something so large through a mail program, and you actually still can't. But what Mail will do is use your iCloud as like a holding staging area, and it will store the file there, and it will send the person you send this email to a link. So for example, like I send some of my students videos of our training session, and like here, you'll see that when I send the file may be 300, 500, 700 megabytes. It will create a file that to him looks something like this. And on my mail program, it will read the download attachment is available for 30 days. So it's letting them know you have until this time to download this file. And when that time has expired, it will also read such and such file is no longer available as of so forth. So how do you set this up? Let's open Mail. And if I go to Mail and select Preferences, and go to General, whoops. Go to General. There we are. Here, under Accounts, Download Attachments, send large attachments with Mail Drop. So in your mail preferences, you want to go here and click on this checkbox in order for you to use the mail drop feature that's in Mail. And it makes things so much easier because you don't have to break things up. You don't have to send separate emails. You can just send it all at one time. It stages up to iCloud and you don't ever have to worry about it. Okay. Does Mail Drop work with a non-Apple receiver? Yes, it does. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. All right. Now, my next question. It's a great feature. You'll love it. You can send Mail Drop once you turn it on, and you can also turn it on in iCloud.com. So once you turn it on, you can use it for your Mac, for your iDevices. All file types are supported, and it does not count against your iCloud storage space. So even better. Next question. What is iCloud Photos? Does it count against my iCloud storage? Do I have to use it? Okay, we had a great class on iCloud Photos, and I hope some of you attended that with Don Wazink. If you go on your Mac, if you go to Systems Preferences, Apple ID, and actually I can bring this up and slide this over and show this to you. Okay, I need you here. Okay, so on my Mac, when I go to my Apple ID, here is where I've turned on iCloud Photos. All right, so that's on my Mac. On my iOS device, you basically go to the same setting. Settings, Apple ID, iCloud Photos, and then you can turn it on. So here it is actually in Photos. Let me open up Photos and show you that setting as well. All right. So in the Photos preferences, this is the setting, General iCloud, and actually you can turn it on here. I don't have my iCloud Photos turned on for the photos, but I do have it turned on for shared albums, and I'll tell you why. I don't really use Photos a lot, but when you have this turned on, that means that every single photo you take on all of your devices and in your Mac gets uploaded to iCloud. And yes, it does count against your iCloud storage, so you have to plan accordingly. The reason I don't have it turned on my Mac and on my devices is that I don't want every single picture that I take uploaded so that I can see it on every single device. But I do want the shared albums that I create. Those are the pictures that I want to see on my devices, because these are usually the images that I'm going to do something with, edit, work on in other programs like Photoshop apps or the Illustrator apps. Those I do want to see on all of my devices because I do beta testing and I want to bring these photos in. But I don't want every single photograph I take, because sometimes I'm in Home Depot and I'm taking a photo of a price or something, or it's just not necessary. So if you want to see every single photo that you have and that you take, no matter what device, by all means, turn this on. But if you don't want that to happen, then you don't check this, and you're still just fine. It's a preference. It was preference for me. Some people like to see all of their images. I don't particularly like to see all of my images. And on your iDevice, this is the settings that you go to, iCloud Photos, and here you can turn iCloud Photos on. You can also turn on My Photo Stream. I don't know if anyone who's used that lately. Images taken and saved to your photo stream do not count against your iCloud storage, but they rotate out every 30 days. So it's just meant as a holding place for your images. And again, I turn on shared albums because I wanted to share stuff with Mitch. Couldn't do that anyway. So that is what iCloud Photos is. I think it's a great feature, and you can decide how you want to use it. All right, so next question. All right, that is question 7. So Mitch, we got you in time. Now, let me pass this one by. Did you have a question, Mitch? Go ahead. A comment?
Yes, after you mentioned that you can turn on that shared feature in mail in iCloud, I went to iCloud.com and I could not find it.
Did you go to preferences?
Probably not.
It's under preferences in iCloud.com.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. All right. Question. Can I safely and confidently upgrade to Big Sur? And whew, that is a question only you can answer, because only you know what type of work you're doing. I have some friends and clients who have upgraded to Big Sur with no problem. I have clients and friends who will not, under any circumstances, like myself, upgrade to Big Sur because we can't, because there are things that we use that aren't working. For example, with the some of the MacBook Pros, and especially some of the M1 MacBook Pros, Big Sur breaks the ability for you to have an external monitor connected to it. They haven't fixed that yet. And it depends on your software. Do you have software that you still need to use? If you don't have any problems with this, you don't have software that does not work or hasn't been upgraded, your equipment needs are okay. I have 2 pieces of equipment that will not work with Big Sur. They have, in essence, told me that if I upgrade, they will no longer work. These are 2 pieces of equipment that I use every day, all day. So I will not be upgrading to Big Sur, not right now. And backup strategy. My understanding right now is, yes, you can use Big Sur with an Intel Mac for Carbon Copy Cloner to work, but not with an M1.
I know.
Can you turn your mic off? Can you turn your mic off, please, Marcia? Marcia.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Okay. So if any of you have Carbon Copy Cloner with an M1 Mac and you're able to make a backup, I would love for you to let me know. But the people that I talk to and that I work with are not upgrading to Big Sur for the reasons, like I said, that we can't. But if you have none of these issues, I say go for it. So that's the best answer I can give you. Do you have any response? Sue, I know you're there. Okay. Anyway, it's a decision only you can make. I don't know how you work. Go ahead, Sue.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I have a Dell monitor that I've got attached to my my MacBook Pro. That's 2015, and so I suppose I can't upgrade yet because it might not work with Big Sur.
You have an M1?
No, it's 2015, early 2015. It's a Retina display.
It may work. I know that some of the issues. This is what I would like you to do is Google that, and I have a couple of links that some of my friends sent me about the monitor problem, but do an internet search and look for problems with Big Sur external monitors or M1 external monitors. And a lot of times it may be the M1 or the software. There could be a lot of issues. Right now, there are too many issues for me and my associates, and things that we rely on. We need a backup. And right now with Big Sur, you cannot make a bootable backup with an M1. Again, if you have done this, let me know.
Chita,
But-
Have you seen David Ginsburg? Right.
Go ahead.
David and Ferris have comments on that issue.
Okay, go ahead, David. Can you chime in?
Hi. First off, Chita, you do a great job. I really think you're doing awesome here. I am running Carbon Copy Cloner on my M1 Mac Mini, and I had successfully did run a backup with it. So it is possible that it does work. I'm not sure if you have an M1 that you've been able to test it on, but but that for sure, Super Duper is an issue. There's been problems with them in supporting Big Sur, but Carbon Copy Cloner has been very supportive of getting it working, especially even on the Intel Mac as well. So,
well, the Intel Macs, actually, Carbon Copy Cloner has not Carbon Copy Cloner, Super Duper has a workaround for the Intel Macs.
Okay.
It's the M1 Max that is causing the problem, because the new way Big Sur and the dual drive is working is that you cannot, my understanding, you cannot copy that system drive. And
right.
I have 2 links that I'll put into the chat that both companies, Super Duper and Carbon Copy Cloner, explain. So it is not, it's more of what Apple is doing that just makes things so much harder to do. So my understanding that the workaround is, yes, you can still use both programs, and even on an M1, you can use both programs and copy the data drive. But if you want the operating system, you have to load the operating system on the drive yourself and then update that yourself. And it becomes gymnastics. It's doable, but it becomes gymnastics. So that's not what we're used to. We're just used to it working. So if I got to go through those gymnastics and it still may or may not work, and I still have problems, I'd rather stay where I am, where everything is working, and I don't have to worry about whether or not I can work with my external monitor, or I can do this, or whether or not my 2 pieces of equipment are not going to work for me. Because some of these upgrades end up costing you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Everything's working just fine right now as it is. So I'll stay here. So that's my commentary. You have to find out what's working for you. For Big Sur, Big Sur has just been a pain in the butt. So that's my commentary. You have to find out what works for you and what does not work for you. Okay. And if you have anything you'd like to put in the chat, please do. And remember to save the chat. But that's, there are 2 people that I rely on to help me make a decision. One is my friend Jack, and my other is my friend Terry White. Neither of those 2 guys are going to Big Sur at this time. So we sort of all do the same thing. So, all right. Off my soapbox. Let me move on. You're welcome. Thank you, David. I appreciate your input.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. Next question. Help. My iPad mini is new, and as they put it, slow as molasses. So a lot of times when you keep upgrading older devices to the newer systems, it basically bogs the older device down. I have an iPad that basically stopped running some programs. It cannot upgrade anymore. And some programs apps that have upgraded, it just told me, listen, I can't run this. And it used to be a super, super, super fast iPad. And it's now, moves as slow as molasses on a cold day. So there are some things that you can do to see if you can make that iPad run faster, especially if you're just using it for reading. You can restart it. You can go in and stop some of the background app refresh, turn off those buttons. You can change your graphics settings. You can close all running apps that you aren't using. You can clear out your cache. And the question also added, what can I do to find out more about that iPad? I definitely recommend that you download Mac Tracker. And Mac Tracker, let me pull up Mac Tracker and show this to you. Okay, Mac Tracker is a wonderful app. It has all of the Apple devices ever made. And if you double click, and I think this was a 4th generation somewhere in, well, I'm just going to click on one. If you double click on, it will bring it up and it will show you different information, general information, software information, chip information, connections, history. And if there's some notes, you can add notes. So this is a wonderful program that you can use to find out about your particular device. And you can definitely find out if it's considered vintage. It's like dinosaur years. So devices get old and they will stop working. This was a 2016 Mac Mini. So we're talking, it's going on 5 years now. That's dinosaur years for technology. So try these and it may work for you. I hope it does. Come back, let us know how that turned out for you. Okay. All right. Yes, Mac Tracker is great. All right. So my next question is, can I print to my print? I can print to my printer from my iPhone or iPad, but it prints so large. Is there any way to change the size it prints to smaller? It depends on the app that you're using. Some apps you can control. Can somebody please turn off their microphone? Some apps you can control what the page size looks like. For example, here, this is a screenshot of pages. I can control what the font size is in Pages, but in Notes, I cannot control it I can control it, but it is not a graceful solution. This is basically set by the iOS device. And there is a location where you can change it in settings, display and brightness, and text size, but this is not a graceful solution because it changes the text size universally in your device. So I have not found an answer to this other than if you could copy, paste, and paste it into Pages where you can control the text size, but if you're printing from an app like Notes, you cannot. Anyone have a comment on that? Okay, well, that's the advice that I have. If you can copy it, paste it into another program. If you can't, we're all in the same boat. I don't know a way to change it.
I have a comment. It's Mitch.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
Mitch.
I have that same problem. And so what I do is when I want to print a note, I go to my computer and do it from there. And it seems to not print in such large text.
Okay. All right.
Pull the note and just print it from there. And it seems to do it in a much
Okay.
smaller font.
Okay, yes, but from the iOS device, you have limited choices. All right.
No, and it prints in this giant text that,
Yes, it does. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you, Mitch.
uh,
All right, so the next question, is there a quick way to find out which of my iPhone and iPad apps will run on my new M1? From my research, I saw no quick way to do it. I saw where people were having to sift down through the Apple Store to see which apps they actually had downloaded from their iPhone and iPad. And it's not like this will automatically work and that'll automatically work. I don't have an M1, so there was only so far that I could go other than reading. But from what I've read, the answer to this is no, you're on your own. Okay. All right, next question. HDD, SSD, which do you have, use, recommend, and your offsite backup services? So an HD is a regular spinning hard drive. An HHD is a hybrid. It's supposed to be some type of combination of two. And an SSD is the solid state drive. I have both. For my basic storage, I've had the, what are they called? The Easy Store by, I think it's Western Digital. I have like 6 or 7 of those. I still have some that are blank. And if I'm just storing files, those are just fine because I'm not really using them for speed. I'm basically just using them to like a filing cabinet to place files in and then pull files out of. But for any work that my computer will do, either doing a backup or on an external drive, I have my Envoy Express, which I did a demonstration of, screaming fast, love them. And after using those, I will never, ever use another regular spinning hard drive for any type of work because it's just too slow. Okay, now with backup, I use Dropbox for all of my documents. Dropbox has been solid for the, 10 or 15 years that I've used Dropbox. It has never gave me one day of trouble. For my offsite backup, if you remember, there used to be a program Crash Plan, and it actually had a home version where regular consumers would use it. Well, I got involved in Crash Plan many years ago when they did have that home version. And then they took that home version away and then only had the small business version. And because I was in that ecosystem already, I stayed with Crash Plan. The reason I stayed with Crash Plan is because any external device that I have connected to my computer, so like here, I have my iTunes backup. This is my computer backup. I have this terabyte drive that has what I call storage files on it. And I have, I believe, 3 more hard drives that are connected to my computer at any given time of the day. Crash Plan will back up every single one of these that I have backed up. It will not back up Time Machine. It just told it not to, and it doesn't. But for all of my storage drives, Crash Plan will back all of that up. And if someone knows of any other program that will do that, let me know. Crash Plan is only $9.99 a month. And it's great because I get everything that's connected to my computer backed up. So I stuck with it. I use it. It took months to get all that stuff backed up anyway, and I didn't really find a good alternative. I have iCloud drive storage. I use iCloud for particular things, but my top go-to are Dropbox and Crash Plan. So if anyone has any other backup strategy, if you could unmute yourself and chime in, I greatly appreciate it. Backblaze. Okay, someone uses Backblaze. And Sophia, you still have your hand up. Do you have a question? Comment? Okay, so there,
Can you
go
hear me?
ahead. I can.
Why do you have two? Why do you have Dropbox and CrashPlan? Are they duplicates?
No, not really.
Okay.
Dropbox, I have Dropbox to save all of my files that are on my computer. It's not saving any of my applications. It's just saving my Dropbox folder, which I use as my quote documents folder. CrashPlan is saving the information on my computer. So yes, it is duplicating that documents folder, but it's also saving my iTunes volume, my what I call a TB terabyte drive volume, and any other volume that's connected to my computer. And I can even save, I can have actually connect to someone else and save their files. So there's a lot of safety and security in having redundant backups, because if one fails, I know that my files are somewhere else. So it's the Dropbox is, I think, $119 a year. CrashPlan is probably around the same thing. My files are priceless to me, and I want to back them up and have duplicate backups in different locations. So it's not a duplicate. Yes, go ahead.
Chita's CrashPlan, are the backups accessible easily?
Yes, they're accessible to through an internet portal. And there's also a desktop program for CrashPlan. Yes, Secretary.
Chita, you asked for backup strategies. What I'm doing, I basically use two computers, both fairly new. I use an iMac 27, that is, I think, from the fall of last year, and I use a desktop laptop M1, also brand new, and they are synced. And I use iCloud. I also use Dropbox. In addition, I have Time Machine, and I use SuperDuper. So the wonderful thing is that my desktop on my laptop and my desktop are almost identical. And that is a wonderful way to, if I lose anything anywhere, I can quickly recover it that way without a loss of time, without having to dig much. I think many of our members do have two devices, and I really feel that is a very, very helpful thing for me, at least, to have these two identical.
Absolutely. And I do have
quick question. How often do these backups occur? Do you set them like every day or once a week, or how often do they back up?
Dropbox syncs automatically. Every time a file changes, Dropbox syncs it. CrashPlan comes on when I'm like in idle. So if I walk away from my computer for about 2 hours, CrashPlan will notice that the computer has been idle, and then it will start backing up. It doesn't need to back up a lot because I back up often, and the bulk of my material documents have already been backed up. So and my Time Machine backs up every hour. My SuperDuper backs up every night at 9:30. So I got backups going all over the place, but you have to have them. Go ahead.
I can add my strategy. I use a service called iDrive, iDrive.com. They seem to be pretty robust, and you could try them for a year. I think there's deals like it's $9 for the whole year, and see if it works out. Yeah, and then believe it or not, I know it's Microsoft, but I do find OneDrive has improved immensely as far as another strategy for backing up. I use a lot of the other services that you mentioned as well, but those two kind of stand out for me as far as some of the backups, and Time Machine and a lot of the other things that that you mentioned. So
okay, great. And in addition to like with SuperDuper, I have like several. I'll make a SuperDuper backup that I just like put over in the corner for about a week, and then I'll make another backup. So I have a lot of redundant backups going on.
Yep.
All right, Richard Cox, backup. 2 devices in same location will die if a fire, or you're right, they will. That's why I have Crash Plan, because all of my stuff goes up to Crash Plan no matter what. I do have files on iCloud. Does Chita use Time Machine? Yes, Chita does use Time Machine. Where are your photos saved? My photos are saved in Dropbox and in Crash Plan. So that's where because everything is really on my computer. So then it saves to Dropbox and then it saves to Crash Plan. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go to the next question. All right. Are there any, whoa, sorry. Let's escape out of that. Got a little too overzealous. And are there any problems? Can you turn your mic off, please? Are there any problems wearing the Apple Watch all of the time? Health issues. There are articles about the technology that's coming in from your phone and from your watch. And there are articles about it. I'll put an article that I found in the chat that's actually even on the Apple website about, the things that are coming into the Apple Watch, but I haven't started glowing just yet. And I've been wearing an Apple Watch for many, many years. The only problem that I seem to have is because I wear it all the time and I have the sport band that, yes, it does leave an imprint and a discoloration on my wrist, but I haven't seen any adverse health effects of having that type of technology strapped to me all of the time. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add to that? Is it hard to charge Watch 6 while wearing it? Actually, no, because I have a 5 and a 6. So when the 6 is on the charger, I have the 5 on my arm. So no, and if I by chance somehow forgot to charge them both at the same time, the 6 both actually charge up really, really fast. So not a problem. How do you sync an Apple adjustment? Okay, Eckert, you have a question. How do you sync an Apple MacBook Air and a MacBook Pro? All right, let Eckert answer that question for you. Okay, not glowing yet. No, I'm not glowing yet. All right, you're welcome. All right, let's move on to the next question. How do I download audiobooks on the CD directly to the Books app? And Cindy, you explained how you were doing it previously, and I still think you need to do it the same way. From a CD, you first need to rip that track off of the CD to your computer. And once you get that file onto your computer, then you can either put it in the music app or put it in, just put it in a location and import it into your Books app. Can you unmute yourself, Cindy?
Yes, hi.
And how you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So
Okay.
is this what you were doing before?
Yes, it works.
Okay. From a
Well-
CD, you have no choice. You have to get it off of that media first in order to be able to use it.
Okay, that's fine. I thought they may have fixed it.
Well, not if it's a CD. So are you speaking the physical CD or are you speaking of something else?
Yeah, a physical CD. So I have to
Oh.
download them one at a time, which is fine. And then after I download them, I have to change them by renaming them. And it works. I just thought
Yeah.
maybe it was something new. Okay.
No,
You-
that magic wand is still yet to come. I'm sure they're going to try to figure that out. But all right, thank you for the question, Cindy.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, next question. how do I disable the red light on my phone when I make a call? This feature was introduced with iOS 14. There is an orange dot that appears on your iPhone when you are making a call or on a call, and there's a green dot that appears when the camera is being used. This was instituted as a security feature to alert you when this was happening. And the settings to see this, settings, privacy, and then you click on microphone or camera. And I believe there's just another setting so that this indicator will either be round or square. But this is a feature that was introduced that I do not believe you can turn off, and maybe don't want to, because it will open up even if there's an app in the background trying to use your camera or your microphone, you are alerted to that. So maybe you don't want to turn this feature off at all. All right. Hope that answers your question. And that was it. Okay, that was the last question that I was able to get to. It is 12:39, and does anyone have any questions that they would like to open up and ask? If not, okay, Mike. Mike is first. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Chita. As a matter of interest, do you let your Mac run 24/7 or do you turn it off at night? And is there any advantage one way or the other?
Yes, I turn it off every night. And not only do I turn it off, I unplug it. Because
Really?
I do. Because a couple of months ago, I had to send my computer in to be repaired because the battery swelled up and pushed out the back of the MacBook Pro. And I was told by my friend who works for Apple that one of the reasons could be because I leave it on and plugged in all the time. He said, unplug it. So yes, I turn it off to basically give it a rest. And I know that some people like put their computers to sleep and then open it up to turn it back on. That does not always, I want to say, settle or park the processes that need to park and stop and do their thing. There were times when I would put my computer to sleep and come back in the morning and it was on. And with one computer, not only did it turn on, it overheated. And I saw that deadly little folder with a question mark in it. That is a frightening icon to see. So from that point on, my computers are turned off at night and are unplugged.
I understood that there was some sort of housekeeping that went on.
Yes. 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 So yes, turn them off, shut them down, and unplug them if you want them to last. Okay.
I have a question if you have time.
Hold on. Richard Cox is next. Richard, what's your question?
I wondered how you made an ICS calendar file. It has multiple events in it, like you're going to send out every dates for the next year for a club group.
Okay, that is a question. Eckert, can you answer that? Okay, that's a little, maybe we can get, if you have access to the bulletin board, put that question in there. Okay. BG guest. Who is BG?
Hi, Chita. It's Barbara Grossman.
Hey, Barbara. What's your question?
I sent you a direct message, but excuse me. My question is, if I back up two different computers to the same external drive, do they appear as separate backups?
They do. All right. Can everyone else turn off the microphone? They can, and that is a really bad idea.
Oh, Okay, why?
Because if you're backing up two computers to the same external drive, what happens if something happens to that drive? You've lost two backups.
Uh-huh, okay.
It's a bad idea.
Best to keep them separate on two separate.
Best to keep them separate.
Okay.
That's my opinion. Anyone else want to chime in on that? But my opinion is keep them separate. I think you're playing with fire, especially if that's your only backup. You're playing with fire.
Okay, that
All right.
makes sense.
And they're very inexpensive. Drives are very inexpensive today.
Yeah. David, you had a comment.
Yeah, I agree with that, and yeah, and George as well. These drives are just so really ridiculously inexpensive. You can buy a small solid state drive, 1 terabyte. It's under $100. I mean,
okay,
that should be more than sufficient for backup.
Yes. Okay, Thomas Hopkins, you are my last question. Go ahead.
Yes, Chita, thank you very much for all your help. It's been very helpful today. Just to let you know, I have a new M1, and before my new BenQ USB-C monitor arrived, I tried hooking it with an adapter to an HDMI and had difficulties. And just to let you know, the new M1, if you hook it directly to your USB new monitor, it works like a charm. If you do any other combination, now I just also, in passing, bought one of these new Anchor 13-in-1 little hubs for a MacBook Pro. And I've been on the Anchor site, and they're having lots of software problems. I can make the hard disk, external hard disk hookup, but if I do that, the Ethernet and the monitor go kafooey. So it's in progress. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Really appreciate that feedback. All right, with that, I thank you all. I really appreciate your questions. I appreciate the interaction. I hope you got a lot out of my session today. And with that, I'm turning it over to George.
Chita, thank you very, very much. Would everybody on mute and give their thanks to Chita? Thank you.
Thanks,
Welcome.
Thank you very much,
Chita.
Chita.
Appreciate it all.
Thank you.
Outstanding as usual.
Thank you,
Terrific.
Jim.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you
job,
very much.
Chita.
Thank you,
In
Sue.
particular,
Thank you, Alan.
for my questions.
You're quite welcome. Thank you all. Really appreciate you coming and supporting the group. And
Great
thank
job.
you again.
Chita, great job.
Thank you very much.
Everybody stay well.
Yeah, for the questions I could not get to, I still have them. I will try to get them to Ed, who's coming up next month. So thanks again and appreciate your questions.